So we're waiting for the markets to open. And I'm going to start trading this demo account based on limits only. So I'm going to put a link to this, these limits as they stand right here. And basically, when it says LD, it means limit drop. And these are single drops that were edited by this guy in Britain, this Clevesis guy. He took these and added on. So instead of just being one drop, he made it so I could put in stacks. So we have here like in a 9 pip window, and this is a 20 pip grid on this chart. This is the daily British pound. It would allow us to, in this demo, to do a load of multiple tickets, and also on a precision drop, instead of having a kind of a shotgun pre-programmed drop, we would actually have the opportunity here to pick windows like this. I'm going to go to the 4-hour chart here and take a look at the window on the 4-hour chart. But I'm going to make these orders last all day long. So if I zoom out, kind of want to get a little more data there. So let's say I wanted to buy anything below this wick here, this bar. Even when the market's up here and everybody's all giddy about this new prime minister or whatever, and they're like, oh man, this guy, he's the best, Brexit thing. Also this low, so if you had a rack in here, say, and this would be just, because you saw that low and you said, oh, I'm going to go over here and get my trusty tickets. And if I put in, this is a 2 pip window with the 3K, so you're buying the top, you're buying 0, 1, 2, and this is a pip apart. This is a 1 pip grid. Let's see what else. So this is a 10K in a 9 pip window, and Lin means that they're spaced evenly apart, 1 pip apart. When it says LOG, that means LOG means that it's going to be logarithmic. So I'm going to have I have a more complicated arrays of these somewhere else. I got to find them where it's geometrically progressive, and then this log. So I have a 5K and a 40 pip window here. So if the market was open, you can't do it now, and you can't really do it. You can't do it in Strategy Tester, but if I hand place that drop here, it's going to lay buy limits in. If I hand place it up here, it's going to put in sell limits. So say I wanted to sell this window here, and I'd have to pick like this 40 pip is the biggest coverage I have. And that's going to be total risk without the spread and without commissions is going to be risk $40 to make $20. Now it's a bad ratio. It's high probability. Here's risk $50 to make $90. This is a 10K and a 36 pip window, but these are evenly spaced. So if I put in different drops, I don't want to repeat any of these drops, or I don't want to repeat even the drop positions. So here I can control all that, and say I did want to buy this low or this one, and I say, okay, well that's going to be like, come over here, grab this ticket, drag it over and drop it here, and then I come over and grab this one and drop it here and let them stack up. And if I was on this chart, it would last all week. So this is Sunday night here. I could, even when the market's here, I could have put the orders in here to last all week. And here comes the market faithfully down. And when they tag that price, you notice that at least 40 pips. This is 20 pips on the skinny wires and the skinny handles. 40 pips into the floor. that would be your scalp out. Now, I would get out. This is the 4-hour chart. At the end of the day, coming into, or the end of the week, I just get a cash out here. And I would cash out. I'm using the limits to get in, but I would say, okay, it looks like we're to the target. Because I don't have, and I'm really concerned about the risk more than the reward, so I don't have like a, if this is a bad ratio, I have a 40 pip stop, 80 pip stop to make 40 pips. If I place that ticket here, the top of the rack gets filled, and it does make its target, and actually some of it gets out early. So it's putting the tickets in there. Here, I just would have only made the very top of that rack if I cash out at the end of the day, but it's not a losing trade. Or I have the scalp orientated tickets that I can put in dense clusters here that have targets that are like this and risk that's like this. At the top of this, there should be some tickets that are scalp orientated here, where you're risking 12 pips to make 18. Now, these are single drops, but these could also, you could just rewrite this with a tighter stop. So you open this code, and you're going to see the ability to create your own mess of this stuff. And it's all right here at the top. You're going to pick your stop. So that's actually 30 pips to make 15. Simple. And then times 10. Easy to do the math. There's no, like, the other scripts that I wrote that have all this double click stuff, it's so hard to figure out how much you're risking. Here, it's pretty simple. And it's very precise trading method. So we'll run the demo on this and see how it works. And then maybe we'll trade it with real money. So I don't think it's the best money in the world, but it's a very simple system. It is going to take a little bit of thinking about the pockets available in the chart. So these pockets are showing up all day long. If we go to the daily charts, and sure, we could put some weekly tickets in. Now, as far as this code, you're going to have to, the very top is the risk. As you go down, the spacing. Now this is linear spacing. 1 pip apart, and here's the other key is how long do they last? So all you have to worry is about how long they last, how much you're risking during that session. And you can make this a 2K if you want, but it's just easier to drop in 2 racks. And the nice thing about these things is that you're not trying to get out. You don't have the problem when you build a position at the market and you're like, oh, we just keep buying every pullback, and you're like, we're finally to the top of we've made it to the resistance level, the really like stretched out, it's insane unfair value. You dump everything. It takes a while to unravel that, but this is going to be scalping out. Of course, here, if we get out at the end of the day every day, I guess that's going to be discretionary, just like the entry, because we would have to say, look at that thing's still going up. Let that go. Close out just that one symbol. Let the other one drift. So that'll help. That's not a robotic thing, in my opinion. That is a structure issue. If we start to engulf, you got to let it engulf. You know, you can't abort everything because you just want to get out with your money. So like we see, here's the dollar at the end of the year getting crushed against the Swiss. And it's a bloodbath, right? And we could have just been buying, and this was the buy, was to buy the dollar at the end of the year for the bounce. And look at that 1 month closeout on the monthly dollar Swiss. If you go to the weekly chart, it's quite the reversal here. And here's another instance where, without any kind of indicators, just trading these new lows. Of course, I guess they're old new lows. if you go back and look at this low here, once we get that, we just nick that in a less than a 20 pip window. Total reversal. At the end of the year, just into the end of the year here, total crush on the dollar. As the euro goes smashing up into that other window, and here you got filled in this day. Who's coming in on this is the breakout traders, the kind of low volatility, low risk guys. You could put a buy stop here. You got a trailing sell stop there. We know there's sellers above here now to cash out. We start putting sell limits up in here. But I'm thinking more like, let's get close to the market. So that's when on the dailies, I'm not thinking about putting a limit. I am thinking about a limit here, but I'm really thinking about we want to get as close as we can to the market here, in the sense that let's pick up like maybe 20K like this on limits with a wide stop, and we'll see what happens. If it comes down here and it never hits my stop, but then it starts to retrace to here, I probably cash out. I'm gonna go flat. Now, if it's real money, I'm gonna treat it like real money. We're gonna be on the safe side. We just go flat on some of this stuff, because the exposure, like it's how much do you want to expose yourself? Because if you go flat every day is like you're reborn. You're not holding some thing that you're riding some big trend. So you're really like a short-term swing trader or short-term trend trader, even I suppose, but not this one. I mean, unless I have some really trendish looking limits where if it has a tight stop and a big take profit, I can take that limit and I can put it really close to the market. So if this is just going down like this, it's dripping down, and I can put in limits just above current price. These automatically turn into sell limits if you put them up on top. If you put them on the bottom, they're automatically buy limits. So buying this plunge here, you would have to run the very wide stops here. You could have done it. The only time you made money was here, because the breakout people are getting in here, and the trend traders and the flags and the pennants and the triangles. There's a million in here, and those systems are kicking in. And you're actually in 20 pips before we hit this. And if you're going to get in here, which you should, instead of waiting for this confirmation, because if you get a little short here, maybe you add here. But my God, something's got to give here. Now here it gave, and the guys that trade this breakout, the short people only made a little bit of money. The long people, they did pretty good. Here's a super doji. This is also a triangle, and there's got to be this is like this 20 pips in one day. Then this is the first probe into new lows, and the buy limit people gobble that up and take it to here into the last known apex of that. Then it's like, look out, because the people that sold here a month ago are like, just trying to trade and making money. Okay, that's wonderful, and they're paying less on commissions, right, and spread, because they don't even have one trade going. But how big are you in this trade? And this is when it comes down to dollar amount. Meanwhile, in the daily, if I'm placing limits in here to capture this, that's my trade. This account's going to not be a trend trading account. I'm not getting in here and riding this bullshit to make 100 pips. I'd rather be a breakout trader and get in here. This makes a run. This makes a run. This kind of makes a run. So, here's, look at this breakout here. So breakout, smash down. Wow, let's get out. And the buyers do come in here at this. Once they take out that next low, we see all kinds of buying coming in here on the next down day. And if you're just going to trade like a lughead and go, I buy when it's down, I buy when it's down, I sell when it's up. You made money here. Here you're not you didn't make that much money, right? So all these trading systems would work. But I don't think you could bet this 2% of your account on each of these things. I think it's better to go with what the market's telling you to risk. Here, super gravestone, spinning tops, daily, dead in the water. Of course, this market's usually dead in the water. For this thing to move, it's pretty amazing. Of course, it's had its moments. So in the daily view, it's pretty far removed from the 4-hour view. Look at this thing. We closed down. This must have really blown people's minds. Because the breakout traders were wondering. They put a buy stop here. They're like, love this trade. And they came back, and just, what the hell's going on here? And then they have their stop here, and then they get stopped out, and then it rips up. This is, now these limit grids here, you'd have to learn. Okay, well, this is the stop. Maybe you can put the stop label in first. I put the coverage area, so 4-pip window. It's a 5K. We can risk $8 to make 8. Risk $4 to make 8, roughly. 10-pip stop to make 20. Yeah, those things could probably work, but you're not risking a lot of money. If they blow you out of that trade, it's not a lot of money. You put your tickets in here. Say here, like you got your limits in. Maybe they don't even fill you enough. Here, buy limits trailing underneath here. Oh, you got filled, ripped up. The perfect fit for that. Got sell limits up here. Tag it, rip it all the way back to here. Now, if that happens in one day, that I have sell limits up here, they rip it all the way down. Look at that ratio. Also, having all these, I don't really have the best, I don't have many stops like that where I'm risking 10 to make 80. You could have them in here, but I kind of made this a little bit more, forgiving. Here's 30 to make 80. Here's a 6K. Now, if you're focusing on this pip thing, which is definitely important, risk 30 to make 80 here. And how many of those setups are there around? And of course, how long does this ticket thing last? Well, if I put a 30-pip stop in, and I put those in here, maybe I lose a couple of those, and I lay these racks in, and precision drops. When the market opens, come over and grab this, drop it. Imagine this is the 1-hour chart. This is like a low from last week or some shit. That's a great trade. And I might even hold that trade till we come up to this low. But maybe that's good enough. If I dropped about 40 of these racks in here, that's going to be 4 standard lots. So that's a lot. That's going to be a lot of tickets. So at least, that's going to be 100. So if I drop 10 of these, it's 100K. Not too hard to come in and drop 10 of these guys here. And another 10. So another 30 drops of other styles and other, like I said, the more diversification on these. And of course, you have the ability to do a diversified drop. So if you drop them in here, and I don't know if there's a retracement in here. This is the weekly chart, by the way, so I'm kind of counting on the fact that buyers did come in here at some point. Let's take a look. Let's take a look and see on the, go to the daily. Let's see if there is a retracement in there. Maybe there isn't. Okay, so our orders would have been like this. This is a 40-pip window. We buy. Okay, we cash out. And then we buy more here because of this. Okay, so we make about 20 pips there or something. 40 off the bottom, 60 off the bottom of that rack. So here, I bought quite a bit here, I think. That would be the place. That is the obvious entry for big tickets. Super deep. And of course, that ticket even became a 20-pip winner at some point. So you see this over and over again. But I think that's the final reckoning. Can we still keep going lower into next year on the dollar Swiss? Yeah, sure, why not? We know that people will be selling above here. selling here. And if it's only for the scalp back to here, so that's what I'll be running. Nice thing is I can sell here easily, and this is a very clean system because these do not say buy and sell. But we know that if we drop it down here, it's going to be a buy limit. And if we drop it above here, it's a sell limit. So I can put sells here scattered up in there that last all day and just see what happens. We just can't know if they're going to be able to push it up there if there's enough people to drive the price up there. Once again, here's another example. This is the weekly chart now, the 100 pip grid again. So we would be long right now, and we would have cashed out of something. Looking at the daily chart, do we see our trade? I guess it's the only entries here, so we would have bought this, and here we would have bought more, and here we would have bought way more. And now we got to go to the 4-hour chart. And to see if these trades worked out, you got to zoom out. That's the other issue, is you're constantly having to see this whole. So here would have been a winning trade, and still got to go to the 1-hour chart. So you really can't see the devil in the details here until you get to this this 1-hour chart. So here would have been your, I run out a little bit of space here. Let me just get rid of the navigator. Oh, they're not going to let me. So here's the story. A wider view, we can see all the fills here. 4-hour chart. Yeah, so if you bought this plunge to here, and then here was the other big scoop out. Buy, and people gobbled that up. Also, you hit the round number, and then we come to what's considered to be the, this is considered to be a low. Right, because it was also this. This was the big deal low. Then here, new low, and then this has become the threshold. Got to get above that. All right, this 100-yard line. And there's plenty of demand or supply up here. So I got to clip that, and a little scalp off of this, come back to here. Still haven't done enough damage. Got to go after this area. Done. I think it's complete. Didn't quite make the round number there, but good enough for most people. Made it back to this small doji. Another seller's window. Trend trading, any kind of counter trend move. This is a small up bar. Put in your sells, small up bar sell. Those are the first hesitations. Just like after we go up, we're going to buy the small black bars right there. There you go. Buy the small black bars. Sell the small white bars too. But you got to be aware of this thing. This issue. Now we have another issue building up. And the scalpers have had their way with it. Here they cashed out. I would put more buy limits here now. Next week, I'm just going to put a bunch of tickets in like that. So we got $5,000 in this account, and let's see how much damage we can do this week. Yeah, that's the limit drop system.